Joining us from Hockey Saskatchewan, a friend who's been on the show a number of times, Kelly McClintock. Always curious to see what the beard is going to look like when the video feed kicks in. Kelly, thanks for doing this. We are talking about the 13th annual Ted Knight Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Fame induction dinner. This year, we're going to Moose Jaw. How do you guys, take or decide where it's going to be? Is it you like to move it around? Or players, from that area?
Yeah, we want to move it around, and if we have some inductees or people that have been nominated from that area, then we want to make sure that we recognize them, and it helps bring in a crowd. And the key part in all of that is, one, recognizing people and local people, and then as well as raising money, and we share the revenue with we'll share it with the Moose Jaw Warriors, and they'll put it to whatever cause they want to.
Okay, let's talk about the player categories this year. We got Ed Staniowski, former Regina Pat great, Brendan Morrow, Kelly Bichard, Douglas Doug Samail. Moose Jaw ties with those fellas.
Yeah, Ed and Doug are both from Moose Jaw. Brendan, he's in the southeast. We haven't had a dinner close, but I believe his mother is living in Moose Jaw, so he's looking forward to coming back and spending time around the dinner. And Kelly Bichard, we've identified and recognized people like Colleen Sistorix and Haley Wickenheiser, as Fiona Smith, as people in our Hall of Fame from a female perspective. And Kelly has played on the national team. She played on our 95 Canada Games team that was pretty successful and won a silver medal. So, we want to recognize, the female players and the female, at times coaches and ultimately coaches and officials that do well from our province.
Grassroots category. I don't know. Is it Jim Large?
Jim Large is. Yeah, we try and recognize people like in a grassroots that are from the area that have really contributed to the game that a lot of people don't know. And Jim at one time coached the AAA team in Moose Jaw. At one time, I think he was probably the last AAA coach who never got any honorarium or salary, which is a little different than in today's world. But he's done a lot for minor hockey in Moose Jaw. And those are the kind of people that I really like to see get recognized, because they're the ones that are contributed to the grassroots development of the game.
And then official category, William Kent Stewart.
Yeah, Kent for many years was the referee-in-chief for the SJHL and worked with Wayne Cartouche pretty closely. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago, but it's just great to recognize what he contributed to the game.
Do you get excited when you get to see an old senior AA team, especially go in the team category? It's the 84-85 Moose Jaw Generals Senior AA team. What can you tell us about the Generals from back then?
Well, I was fortunate or unfortunate to play against them for 4 or 5 years, and we didn't win many games against them because they were really good. And, at that time, there used to be a senior league called the South Central League. There was 3 teams from Regina: the Molson Exports, Westbridge Bruins, Morski Blackhawks, Moose Jaw, Assiniboia, Milestone, and Weyburn. It was a really high caliber league, and we used to play 30 games back then in a league schedule. But the Generals were a tough team to play, but they had a lot of ex Moose Jaw Canucks and from the SJHL at that time, and they added some players, and they won the Hardy Cup, which at that time there was an Allen Cup and a Hardy Cup, and they were able to win the Hardy Cup, and they were an exceptional senior hockey team. So it's great to see a couple of the guys were at the announcement in Moose Jaw, and I had played against them, hadn't seen them. We all look a lot older than we did in 84, 85, that's for sure. So, but they're telling me how they still, they're still playing Monday and Thursday afternoons at 1:30, and invited me to come over and have a game once in a while.
Why is this important? As I said at the start of it, it's the 13th annual induction dinner. Why is this so important for Hockey Saskatchewan to now have this 13 years in?
Well, I think for us, we don't do a good job in hockey of recognizing people and recognizing not just the players who go on and do well, but everybody else that contributes to the game. And, players in Southeast Saskatchewan would look up to what Brendan Morrow did and recognize that's where he is. He inspires kids to play just like all the others did, right? I had a little story with Ed Staniowski saying I can remember, getting a chance to shoot a puck at him in the Midtown Mall, the old Midtown Mall in Regina. And I said I was lucky enough to score. And he was like, no, I never let anybody score, right? And I went, well, yeah, I was pumped because there's no way I could probably shoot that hard as a 12-year-old, but or 13, whatever it was. But those are the guys that, like, I remember watching, like, the 74 Memorial Cup Pats. Like, I used to go to most of the games, and those are the people that inspired me to do better and enjoy the game like I did. And to have people like Jim Large and those are the kind of guys that, made the game enjoyable for kids. Or a Kelly Bichard can be an example for young girls that want to get in the game and aspire to play and enjoy the game and do the best they can.
What's the best way for people if they want to get involved with this or go to this? So just go to the hockeysask.ca website?
Yeah, or we're doing it in conjunction with the Moose Jaw Warriors, so you can always there'll be some ticket information coming out shortly, and you can purchase tickets through the Warrior office.
There we go. And just probably a busy time for you guys at the office. All the provincials going on in different levels. I know I've talked to one guy, I'm not going to name drop, one guy who's he's an official, another guy that's got a schedule, sometimes officials. I don't know how they're doing it, Kelly, because you got, senior, junior, minor hockey league, playoffs, provincials, and there's only so many refs.
Yeah, there's so many refs, and this is the time of year when any type of disciplinary action because of something that happened on the ice is heightened. You know that, right? Yeah. And it is heightened. So, situations that have happened, during this week, it's like, well, it's the officials, they weren't qualified enough, but you only have so many, right? And so. And the toughest part is, with always have to schedule for game 3, and then all of a sudden game 3 doesn't happen. Can you get those guys into a game the next day? Do you bump somebody you've already assigned? So all of those things come into play. And, passion, I'll use the word passion is kind of unbridled at this time of the year when it comes to disciplinary actions.
Right on. Kelly, thanks so much for taking some time. Busy weekend. I'm at rinks. I'm sure you're going to be in and around rinks, and hopefully you don't have any disciplinary action to talk to me about next week.
All right, buddy. Take care.
See you later.